Hey ladies, welcome back. Always great to see you. Spend a little time. I'm happy you made time for me. Like I told you, you never have to ring the doorbell. There's always, the door is always open for you. And I always have space on my sofa or around my pool. And we can just relax and talk and enjoy a little afternoon chat. You know what time it is. Time for us to mix it up and get a few things off our minds, what we've been thinking about, what's been happening in popular culture and things like that. I want to say big up, brap to all my working ladies, all my stay-at-home moms, all my wifeys, all my single moms, all my everyone. Just keep the faith. And I know it's tough being a woman in these times and fighting this thing we call life, making progress. So I just want to shout all of y'all out, all you moms who are students, moms who are reinventing yourself and starting over, all my divorcee women, all my, all of y'all out there. Shout out to y'all, okay? So before we progress any further, the one thing I wanted to say is I want to extend heartfelt condolences to the family of Lee Gates and his loved ones. He was unfortunately cut down brutally last night, and it's just a tragedy. There's no other words for it. I came across Lee Gates and his post on the topic of Donna Lee. I found him to be quite insightful, very revealing, committed, and he had so much to offer. His perception and his perspective on certain topics were, well needed in this, genre, from a West Indian perspective, from a Jamaican perspective, as a Jamaican man. And I just realized that his presence will be so sorely missed. It truly is a horrible situation, and thoughts and prayers out to his family. We just hope that those who are responsible are brought to justice, or found and brought to justice, and that this won't be just another senseless, brutal deletion for because we can't say certain things here of a life so meaningful. So again, heartfelt condolences to the family. The topic that brought me here today was, I was originally going to talk about something else, but then I came across an old video, or a couple old videos, and it really brought out some strong feelings and some strong opinions on my part, and I said I want to talk about this instead. So I'm not sure if you're aware how many of you watch certain genres in YouTube, but currently there's like a back and forth between Miss Kitty and LA Lewis. And then of course, you had Dr. Love, who chimed in and, added his little 2 cents to the situation, and his brand of, dry humor that he has, this subtle shade that he has. And so this, I found it a little funny. So, but then I really started thinking about what they were saying and, what they were implying with regards to her, and I found it a little troubling, right? So apparently a couple months ago, Kadeen Hilton, also known as Miss Kitty, who happens to be a popular radio personality down there in Jamaica, and she had a few things to say with regards to what her criteria is for a man, or for a life partner or a husband. But when she thinks of that person standing by her side, she had some pretty strong and clear-cut requirements as to what she's looking for, right? And one of the things she said, she don't want a broke man, she don't want a lazy man because she work hard, she don't want no man where, you know, like basically want an ex-mommy, she want like a man, right? And so them class are go, them class are come, because of what she was saying. Now, some of them did put out a preamble saying that it's not what she said, because nobody wants no deadbeat man, but it's how she say it, and she's our mouth to get her in a trouble, and you know, she said things in a way that's kind of harsh where make man fearful, right? And it asks dead on the cow fat. She then say all kind of things. But the bottom, middle, and top line is that that woman have every right to say what she wants in a man. She does. And I think one of the problems with some women today is that they're not clear as to what they want in a man. They're not sure. They're just working, going to school, doing their thing, and then they're waiting for someone to acknowledge them, or there's somebody that catches their eye, and then things go from there. There's no clear-cut or defined characteristics, you know, prerequisites of what that man needs to have. And I feel that that gets women in a lot of trouble, right? Because in order to, when you're going shopping, them always tell us that you must always eat first before you leave, and you must always make a list, because if you don't, when you're going out of shop, you're going to see all kind of things that catch your eye, and you sometimes are gonna buy things where you don't need, where you don't want, and you know, when a good fear. And you can apply that to when you're choosing a partner in life. If you don't have clear-cut, defined lists of exactly what you want and what's going to work best for you as a person, you tend to go with the flow and pick up somebody that, you know, may not be good for you in the short term or the long term. So them start talking, oh, Miss Kitty no good looking. Now, you know, for a woman, that's the first thing you can do to make you feel unvalidated, right? Is by telling her about her looks, finding fault with her looks or shape or this or that. It was such a low blow. It was such a low blow, because for one thing, Miss Kitty, when she put herself together, and the woman looked good. The woman stay clean, the woman look good, she you know, she tidy, she put together, right? Then them start to attack her, say she going to make man feel intimidated. And I said, the person, and that was their words, that was their exact words, you are going to make men feel intimidated. And I said to myself, said, the only man that's going to be intimidated by what this woman said is a man that cannot meet those requirements, right? It's either you can meet them or you can't. She said what she wants, and there was nothing wrong with her putting out our notice, say, if you don't meet them, yeah, nobody come, right? So now let's mention the fact that Miss Kitty is a law school graduate, right? I'm not sure she's passed the bar, but she's a law school graduate from UWI. And you know, say, first of all, even just to get through high school is tough some of them days, that depending on where you're going to school, right? Because I can tell you, I go to school in one of the most stringent school districts in New Jersey. So getting through from kindergarten to high school, especially them last 4 years of high school, was not easy. I don't know, easy thing, right? You have all kind of standardized tests you have to take and pass. We had prerequisites that we had to take and pass. We had to have 4 years of a language. We had to have 3 years of a science. We had to have 3 years of a math. And when I say math, I mean algebra 1, geometry, algebra 2, and trigonometry and calculus. Yeah, trigonometry half the year, calculus the next half. We had to take economics. You understand? We had to take a language. It was either French, Spanish, German, or Cantonese. Alright? So when you do all of them things there, right? And then now you're going to university. And I can tell you that university is no cakewalk either, as most of you know. And some of you women are doing all this while being mothers, while being wives, while holding jobs, and who knows what else. Nowadays, it's very rare that a person just goes to school and is able to just be in school and just focus on school and come out of school, especially as a woman, right? Then now, you're gone on law school. You have to establish a career, and she was, it appears, was establishing her public speaking career, on your personality career, and then she went to law school. So it looks like she was doing a little bit of both, right? So everybody knows that going to law school is also what's a rock, no cakewalk. The first year of law school is the most brutal. So for her to do all of that and come out and establish herself as an independent, hardworking, educated, highly educated woman, you know, feel that she have a right for speak exactly what she wants. It looks like this dog won't come on yesterday, you know. This dog in a competition with me with regards to talking to you. But we're not paying no mind. Yes, so you don't feel she has the right at that point to say, I want a man that is on the same level as me. I want a man who is a provider. I don't want a man that's going to be asking me for money. The same individual that was talking about this said he was on a WhatsApp, and at the WhatsApp you had men in there asking, when is a good time? How long in the relationship should you wait before you ask the woman for money? Now let's think about that. How long in the relationship they must wait before they ask the woman for money? You know what? There was a specific description, you know, about what women were supposed to be for men. And I know a lot of Jamaicans, them in them Bible and them know them Bible and things like that. And if them looking at it, it would tell them that she's supposed to be a helpmate, not a carry-all. She's supposed to be a helpmate. I can tell you, and before I'm going to go any further, let me just say, because there was a lot of aspersions called, you know, casted on her, saying she not married, and that's why she not married, and that's why no man no want her, and this and that. But let me just show you now. Say, that's not my reason here. Me done do that. Long time. Alright? Long time. See there? I can pan over to him, but I'm not going to do it. Alright? So it has nothing to do with me being a bitter, manless woman, why I have an opinion on this. Because that's what was being said about her. That she was bitter. That she is a sexually frustrated woman. And that's why she felt the way she did. They didn't put it together that this was a woman that worked very hard to achieve everything she has. And she doesn't feel after she's worked that hard that she should then have to be with someone who is then also now looking to her for help. And she's right to feel that way. When you've achieved as you have achieved, and I feel the same way for men, right? But it's a little bit different for them. But I do feel women, once you've achieved a certain level of success, and from an educational standpoint, you can then just go decide, say, you go marry somebody who isn't on the same or near, because he doesn't have to be exactly the same, but he has to be somewhere near where you are. He has to have the aptitude to get where you are. You see, if them don't have what you have, them going looking at your plate, them going want you feed them. Okay, just keep that in mind. If you have, as a woman, has attained a certain level of success financially, professionally, and you are with someone who is not even near your level, and I don't want to speak disparagingly, but I just want to be factual and actual, and talk about basically what I've seen, me being this far on my journey through life. If he is not on your level, if he is nowhere near your level, if he does not have the aptitude or the potential to achieve what you've achieved, and when one what you have, and I go on take yours. And that's what Miss Kitty was saying. I think why so many men were sensitive about it is because, as they said, she intimidated them. She speaks very well. She is very self-assured. And the one thing I've noticed with women in the Caribbean that are self-assured, that are polished in a certain way, that are overachievers or high achievers or even type A, it's almost forbidden. It's almost considered blasphemous for a woman to be that way. We can be put up with men all day long that are type A or very verbose or very, you know, them tear cloth from yeso to deso. The amount of cloth with them tear, you da think so them there the garment district in New York. Them rough round the edges, a lot of them. Talk the truth. Talk the truth. You do have a lot of men that are very, you know what I'm trying to say. But a lot of them down there, they seem to be, you know, especially now. I remember Yardman back in the day and Yardman now. Even, you know, because I'm not even going to put it in no classification in terms of demographic, because in every demographic you had men back in the day that were very knowledgeable, very, they were intellectuals. Your Rastafarians that knew everything from philosophy to astronomy to, you know, history, you name a topic, they were versed on it. So it had nothing to do with demographic. It has everything to do with a mindset. It has every single thing to do with a mindset and the scammer mentality that is happening down there now. And let me just say, I know say a whole heap of good man they down there now. Whole heap. But they're getting blurred by some who are not so good. Okay? I've heard a lot of stories of women that are scammed by men. And when I say scammed by men, I'm not just talk about them boyfriend or them husband, not talk about by family members, by people, you know, friends of the family, but just basically men who see women as a resource, as a commodity to take advantage of, to feed off. Like whatever you achieve is to be shared for me and you. What I lay back as the man, and you go out there and you do everything. And Miss Kitty's saying that's not what I want to do. That's not what I want. I want a partner in life on every level. I want someone that intellectually matches me. And she has every right to feel that way, to want that. If she said she want poop, if she didn't want the circus clown, I wonder, you know, would you be as upset? Would you have been half as upset if she had said, you know what I want out of life as a woman that's achieved as much as I've had, you know, in the circumstances that I've had, you know, struggling through the hardship that I've had, I want to be with the circus clown. I want to be with someone who is completely unproductive, completely, you know, not unwilling or unable to meet me at my level. Would that make them feel better? Them start talking about all the women that married. And them start talking about all the women that have no baby. And that is what the newest topic is about her now. That she's unmarried and she don't have no baby, and a time for she have picnic now, a time for she do this now, a time for she do that now. Who are you to determine that? Why is it that men feel that they are an authority on women that they don't even know? They have not asked her what her goals are. They don't even know if having children is a priority for her, is on her list of things that she wants to do in this life. There's quite a few women, professional women, that I know that having children is not something that they want to do. And for varying reasons. How do we know she's medically able to do that? How do we know any reason why she has or has not had children? How do we know she does not have children? How do we know she don't have no man? Minister man claim you, minister man claim you. Why is it men have this idea that the only time we are valid, we are validated as women, is if we have one of them standing beside we? Answer me that. What is it with these men that feel the only time we as women are considered women or complete or accomplished, no matter the length of our educational, professional, financial accomplishments, they mean nothing unless we have one of them standing by our side? It is ludicrous. It is ludicrous. It is asinine thinking. Completely, unequivocally asinine thinking. Narcissistic thinking. There are women out there that feel just fine with just dating. They just want a companion. They don't want a permanent male fixture in their lives or in their homes. Shock. That's a shock for so many men. And they're fine with it and they're happy. They're happy. That's not what they saw for themselves. That does not invalidate them in any way. Some of them feel they're even more productive because they do not have that constant male presence that in their mind is a distraction to their goals, dreams, aspirations. What makes you think, first of all, having a child does not make you a mother. And not having a child does not make you any less of a woman than those who have had children. It doesn't. It does not. We see all across the board women in the boardroom, women at the executive level, women at the managerial level, women at all levels of the spectrum that have decided not to have children and not to get married, or to get married but not have children, or to have children and not get married. No one knows their circumstances. No one knows the reason, except who they choose to share it with. So I find it so repugnant. And let me use up some of Miss Kitty big word because I know them to child. See, I get Miss Kitty. I get Miss Kitty. Them start list off how much other woman, and in the way they were even describing those women, it was disparaging them. Them say, oh, this one, you know, how she could have get man over you as old as she is. That one there, me know say she could have get man. Me know say she better looking than you. They were pressing all the buttons. They were hitting below, around, above the belt. Mentally, physically, emotionally undermining her. Because they felt she would make men feel inadequate. But I want to say this. She is not responsible for how any man feels. You know what was crazy? This individual was saying, and it's somebody, you know who you are. If you're watching me right now, you know who you are, because based on what I said, I know you know exactly what you said at the time and what I must have heard, right? But in the height of the conversation, he said, me, I'm not this, I'm not that, but I know I can get almost any woman I want. Sir, that is grandiose behavior. I know you called up your homeboy, and I got a kick out of that. I'm not even gonna lie. When you call up your homeboy and say, listen, I need to understand the word, what is grandiose behavior? That's grandiose behavior. Because I don't understand why you feel say you can get anybody you want, but she can't get anybody she wants, because she's a woman that is intelligent and maybe a little, you know, vocal with the level of our intelligence. Them start talk about, oh, she not the man where she have and a four man. The woman will only have sometimes on a phone woman, on a share woman and don't even know. The man where she have for how much years, all the man no want to be seen with her. She's a very private person. But there's all types of assumptions being made about her character, her lifestyle, her thought process, because she didn't have a man standing by her side, or she chooses not to show him. Unacceptable. But I want to say this to you, ladies. We have to start changing the narrative. We have to start supporting each other. We have to start defending each other. Because I'm going to tell you something. That man that was speaking, you know, is somebody that I've followed on and off for a while. But I was so surprised by this, you know, this conversation he was having. And you can tell he was highly irritated with her because it appears that she had been, you know, very vocal on other topics before, and them said, oh, you do this all the time, you're terrible. We can't all be alike. Just like men on the spectrum, there's all different types of men. It's the same thing with women. There's all different types of women. And in her case, she's a learned, confident, strong-willed, purposeful woman. And we need to see more of that. It's not that we have to be exactly like it, but we have to be more accepting of our expectations of women. Women shouldn't have to feel they have to shrink down. I've gone to lectures with some of the greatest minds. I'm not show off, and I tell you the truth. With some of the greatest minds at the time that I was in school, that would come and lecture on a variety of topics, because that's the university that I went to. That's what they did, you know. In the field of study that I was, we had to have these lectures. And you would have men go onto the stage, stand at the lectern or the podium, and expound on a range of topics. You have Kevin Samuels the other day, before he, you know, his untimely passing, that was speaking about what he expects of women and what women should be, all women's weight, women's this, women's that. There's something very wrong with that. All of those men, a great deal of those men have daughters. They're not considering that. No one was disparaging those men that would take the lectern at school and vice out on whatever subject, from the evolution of mankind to photosynthesis to the social behavior of young black boys. You name it, they talked about it. I've heard it. And when those men were finished, no one would say, or no woman would come on and say, boy, him going like him smarty. It made me feel intimidated. It made me feel intimidated because him knows so much. Okay, me never hear that. But when a woman, on the other hand, you know, the first time I heard something like this, why it really bothers me? Because when I was small, I remember hearing them talking about Beverly Manley and Michael Manley. And there's no doubt that Miss Beverly is one of the most intelligent women of our time, right? And I miss her so. She was versed in politics. She was a consummate advisor to her husband. And he picked a woman that was in alignment with him. He picked a woman that could advise him politically and in other ways, I'm sure, as well. But I hear conversations. I remember hearing people say, or adults saying that she must have obia. That's why I'm there with her, because you know you know, for a variety of reasons, but I know one of them is they just felt she wasn't worthy. And from then, it's always been in my mind, this idea of men judging the worthiness of women. And it's always a certain type of man that will do that. Okay? Michael Mann never do it. Because he was learned enough to know he needed an equal. He needed someone that when he wanted to speak about philosophy, art history, he could do that. If he wanted to speak about playing chess or go golfing, that person was a match. That person was a true partner in every sense of the word for him. So I don't feel it's wrong for Miss Kadeen Hilton to give her list of what she wants. And I'm going to give you guys an assignment. Sit down, for you women that are single out there, you young ladies that are single out there. Sit down and think about who you are as a woman, the type of personality you have, what you want out of life, what you plan to achieve, what your goals are. And then make a list in what you want of a man. And honor that list. Then make it seem like man a go to style. Well, there's this much man to this much woman. So, for lack of a better word, that's the type of impression I was getting. Like, una better satisfied with what una get. Because as so much man to so much woman, so what una get enough to take, enough just glad for that. Let me just say, it is my belief that man must ask woman for money. It is like an adult and a child. And this is something my father tell me. That a man must not ask a woman for money. What makes a man is that he knows that he must have his life together before he involves a woman in that life. When you better jump underneath my comments and start with no foolishness, you know. And you know what? Do it. Whoever wants raising a voice and, you know, dispute that, come. But I'm going to say it again. My daddy teach me, say, and I believe that a man must not ask a woman for money. Just like how you have adults and children. An adult cannot ask a child for direction because that's an adult. Just like we have certain expectations of women, we need to start having certain expectations of men. And what makes you a man? Hey, remember in the Bible, you know, when Joseph knew Sam was going married to Mary, you know, what the first thing he do? He build her a house. He gave her a foundation. You can't want to get into a woman's life when you don't have your stuff together as a man. A woman cannot fix things for you. That's just it, how me feel. A woman cannot fix things for Uno. She's your helpmate. She's not supposed to do all the maths and solve all the problems. And when you find a queen, a dime, more than a dime, a dollar, that is as accomplished as that young woman. Because the man start talk about her age, you know. Oh, she old, she reach this age now, that them watch all that. Them was talking about all that. how old she is, and how she have picnic now, and how she is. You don't really sit down and listen to yourself. You just attack the woman. You just a relentless pounding. I don't know her personality. She might be, you know, very brash or harsh. But how much maybe because she don't want so much harsh men. Maybe that's why. Has anybody sit and ask her why she feel the way she feel? No. It goes so far as to someone then calling another vlogger, that vlogger taking to the internet to tell the world that Miss Hilton was a victim of sexual assault. And that's why it went that far that till they had to do an investigation. They went and did research and an investigation. Donna Lee still dead enough. Donna Lee still gone. There's all these things happening in the world. All these things on the island that need their attention. But they went and investigated why she don't like man. And no one finds a problem with that. It was the most, I cannot even put into words how I felt when I heard this individual putting that woman out there like that. Because if she did not come forth with her trauma, the alleged trauma, why should you put it out there? Why should we be okay with that? That woman, if what is alleged is true, suffered terribly, must be traumatized, but yet she held that close and said nothing and was still able to push forward and achieve to the level she achieved. And here we have, you know, some men who went out to shame her with her trauma, all under the guise of helping her because she needs to have picnic. It was disgusting. I want you men to think about something. Your obsession and your fascination with women has to be thought about several times. Is that because them a man and we a woman, them can say anything they want and them can think anything wrong, and we have to answer to them as to why we want to do and why we don't want to do and why we do, when you don't even know them? The person that came and shamed her about her, or attempted to shame her about her trauma, I can guarantee you she hasn't had not even one conversation with that person ever a day in her life. But they felt motivated to go out there and research. And what was crazy about it is that he said it was another woman that told him about this alleged traumatic event that happened in her life so many years ago. And if him want, him can call her name and him call the alleged person who told him that name. I found it crazy that one woman would not understand. Regardless of if I like her, if I don't like her, she has a right to her privacy, especially on a matter so sensitive. But that's just how far down the totem pole women's value have become, that these things can happen. And what they're not realizing is these are the things that end up leading to a Donnelly, right? The devaluing of women. These things, among other things, but these are some of the primary elements that have issues like a Donnelly, that have issues with all the other women that have been assaulted, abused. Even this year alone in that island, they all have a common thread, the devaluation of them. That men are an authority over them. Not a guide, not a partner, not a resource, but an authority. And we need to be doing what they think we need to be doing. It is unacceptable. Miss Kitty, I don't know you. I don't know her. But I want to say, I appreciate your achievements. And I appreciate the achievements of all the ladies out there, great and small. And you know what? All your achievements have been great. Andre Stevens came on about a topic that was so disturbing. And I want to touch on that too before I leave, because he asked, or he entreated all of the vloggers out there to bring this topic to light with a man called Paul Messam, who's alleged to have assaulted so many young girls. It starts from these women are young, you know. The devaluation of them. So many women called in and told their story about being assaulted by family members, by strangers, by people in authority that was supposed to be protecting them. It was just a sad weekend with regards to information. And some of these men are mad about some things, but not about other things. And not realizing there's a common thread. The common thread is the devaluation of women. The idea that a man feels he's the authority figure over a woman that is a stranger to him, or even if it's a relative. You have no right. The only man she must answer are the one up there, so. That's the only man she must answer to. And her husband, respectfully, when she makes a choice to do that, or her spouse, or whoever she wants to. Ladies, I don't want to hold you long tonight, because as you can see, we look a happy hour. The sun has gone down. Let me just say one more thing. This is brought to you by Gold Coast Sea Moss. Go to goldcoastseamoss.com. It's an apothecary that has a lot of herbs and, you know, sustainable, wild-crafted sea moss. So for you sea moss lovers, go and grab some. So I wanted to get that in before I close. But I just want to say, ladies, you are strong. You are beautiful. You are resilient. You are valued. Do not let unnecessary chatter throw you off your path and off your purpose. We're all here to learn from each other. We should all be here to support each other, because as you can see, we are going through a lot. You just have to take a perusal of social media and you see what's on there. You listen to the radio, you watch the TV. It's a very serious situation. But if we come together and talk about these topics and support each other and uplift each other and empower each other, then they will be the one to have to rise to the occasion. We have to start determining what we really want, because it could have been 10 million and one of them out there, you know. But if we decide that we don't even want 999 of them, what do you think I got happen? We have to set our standards. We have to set our boundaries, ladies. And we have to support each other, because it's serious. And Miss Kitty Mwan just said, one girl. Now shrink yourself for nobody. Because when them talk about how you're rough and how you set things rough, a whole heap of them man they down there. Me listen to Yardman. I've heard a lot of Yardman in my life. And the things what they will say. When you hear the bad with them tear, or the little loose joke with them run, and should we start judging them as harshly as they judge us? Should we not do that? Should we not raise the bar? Love on yourself. Love on yourself. You are the highest of the high. You are the Most High's gift to this planet. You create life. You support life. You sustain life. Even if you don't give birth to life. You are the most precious resource on this planet. Okay? The suggestion, the individual told Miss Kitty that she might have to go abroad to find a man that's gonna be on her level. Now you just insulted all of the men on that island, because they said the whole owner can't hang with her. On a not on our level. That she'll have to leave that island. Then so she should. And one last thing with you ladies. If you want to find something, you have to go where you're best able to find it, right? And that includes a man. You're not gonna find shoes in a jewelry store. Okay? Go then. Everybody, the internet is there, and I know it's a dangerous place too, so just broaden your horizons, broaden your options. Don't let anybody, and just keep in mind, the first thing them going to do is attack your looks, and attack your intellect, and attack your strength. So you have to come out armed and prepared. You have to know yourself. You have to love yourself. You have to decide that you're not going to be defined by what someone who does not even know you have to say. That's what I want to tell you ladies today. Don't let anyone but yourself define you. I need a little coconut water. This is what I'm drinking today. Some coconut water, Goya. It don't taste too bad. It's pretty good. But my throat dry. I want some more. I want to say more. But I'm just gonna, like I told you guys the other day, I learned to hold my mouth on certain things. But one thing them can't tell me says me not have no husband. Because you see, me and my husband, we talk about philosophy. We talk about politics. My husband, him love politics. Him love civil rights. Him love human rights. Mosquito bite me. Civil rights, human rights. He's well versed on all those things. Okay? And why would you not want someone that shares your interests? My husband, you name it, he's on it. He can speak well on those topics. Environmental concerns, social concerns. He's a provider. He's all those things. Right? Because we're able to be in alignment on those things. We could talk about those things. If we weren't able to connect on certain levels, our longevity so when you have a woman that is educated, or even a woman that is, you know, and I don't even say or even a woman, because we all have value. We're all doing our part to have like an amazing life, right? But the bottom line is you have to choose what is conducive to you, what is going to be stimulating to you, what is going to be best for you, the life you want to live, how you want to raise your children, the type of father you want for your children. Those are things you all have to consider. Girl, just know, sir, if a one place you can come and get support is right here, so alright. Want to know, just know, say, you matter. You matter. No one has the right to cast aspersion on your name. No one. Especially when they don't even know you. Alright? I just want to tell you, so this one take a little long, but I want to thank you guys for hanging in there with me. I was just so annoyed by this whole thing. I was stronger than annoyed, but I'm just going to use annoyed for now. And I just going to say, I'm going to have to ring the doorbell. I'm gonna just come in, like, share, subscribe. Come heal me up sometime. I'm not gonna advocate for no. I'm always going to be, I've decided to do that after I heard all that exchange, that one of the things I want to do is to be an advocate for you. Come, me not afraid of them. I can tell you that. Anybody that knows me will tell you that. From me small, I think that's why I feel so strongly about the whole Miss Kitty thing, because as a little girl, I was that girl. Like I like to learn. I like to talk about what I learned. My friends are the same way. You know, I feel confident in talking about certain topics and feeling strongly about it. You know, and I remember, you know, sometimes being made to feel like I was too much, too type A, too this, too that. But no, sir, you are meant to be here. You're amazing. And don't let anyone determine what steps you should take on this journey but you and the Most High. Alright? So, little more. Come check me. And again, for the subscriber, when just subscribe, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. You know, I keep telling you, words cannot express just how, you know, I know your time is precious and valuable, so for you to come and just chill with me a little bit and with vibes over and all our vibes and, you know, do some maths, I appreciate it. All right, so come back. I'm looking forward to seeing you. Little more.